Hello.
Hi, is that,
Hi.
can you just wave your hand so I can see who you are?
Hi. I don't think you know me.
No
My name.
problem. Hi, Pamela.
Hi.
I see your name on the screen. Hi,
Yeah,
Pamela.
I'm Pamela. Barbara actually invited me, but so I was thinking that she'd be here.
Oh, she might show up. Yeah, welcome.
Hi. I was trying to get on to Zoom via my laptop, but it wasn't working. I don't know why. I'm on my cell phone now, and that's not so convenient.
No problem. I see you perfectly, but
Oh, but it's not so good for me because it's so tiny.
okay. Yeah, no problem. Then if you like, take your time and see if you can get on to.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna log out again and see.
Okay.
Give me a moment.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
no
right.
problem. I just posted a really amazing talk with Zach Bush on Facebook. If any of you have an interest, for me, it's a pretty broad view that's really brings a lot into focus. Well done. Pamela, did that work for you? Pamela?
Oh, hi. Yes.
Hi.
Yeah, much better. This is much better. Hi.
Did you have something specific that you wanted to address, or you just wanted to make contact?
Are you still talking to me?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm actually not sure. Barbara and I were talking today, and she invited me, so I just wanted to participate.
Yeah, perfect. So you participate if you want to ask a question or you want individual attention, just raise your hand, just to wave your hand like that.
Okay, and for now, I'll just listen.
Yeah, sure. I'll go back to gallery view.
Thank you.
Fully.
Hi, Isaac.
I sorry.
Would love to rest with you
But
and get enlightened.
that's a funny idea. It's so amazing, you know, just like the moment we move into getting somewhere, how that affects our capacity to really meet the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, something that happens in all of us thousands of times. But it's just interesting to notice, you know, we're here, and this is all that we have. And how to receive it beautifully and meet it beautifully. And that's just like riding a bicycle. It has to be right present moment, yeah? The sun is moving and it's arc in the
Yeah,
sky.
she is.
I have to keep changing.
I even feel a deeper layer of total acceptance. Yeah.
How beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shifting.
Yeah. That's the beauty of just keeping quiet.
Yeah. Is there also a never ending of total acceptance? Is it also always layer after layer after layer?
I can only say how it seems to me, which is we have generations of trauma and old information, you know, conditioning, and
Yeah.
so many subtle layers to it. In my experience, it keeps getting more fine, more capacity to notice.
And when there's resistance to a certain experience, actually you're leaving yourself, right?
It, you know, it depends on how you use words, because I mean, ultimately, what leaves anything is just our attention. So, you know, when there's resistance, it registers as if there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And so, depending on the intensity of that feeling or that sensing, our system either moves into trying to find a solution or believing that there's something wrong with someone or ourselves or something like that. But if the movement goes towards to find a solution, then we're not just present as awareness. We're busy with our thinking or
Yeah.
so. One of those movements that happens is a movement towards hope, like that something will be better in the future. And it feels like, at least there's hope. But what hope, in my view, does is it stops us being able to really savor the moment, because our attention is towards the future. And the other side of hope is despair or hopelessness, which can show up as depression, like just there's no hope. In this instant, just really receiving the information of now, it's full. I mean, it's just. So, on the one hand, everything is appearing in awareness. So the sensations of this moment are appearing in awareness, and it's already in, you could say. There's nothing that needs to be done. It's just the way it is. And at the level of the nervous system, there's conditioning, there's trauma, there's subtle resistances, which also appear in awareness, but then show up as suppressing or not noticing. I mean, a whole bunch of different things. So, when we rest together, it's like there's these incredible nervous systems, comprising of trillions of cells, and viruses and bacteria and life, and somehow resonating with each other and coming into communion, you could say.
Yeah. How does my system feels to you?
It's such a big question in a way, it's like, because there is so much information. Basically, it's present. There's, from my feeling, a sweet flow and enjoying, and changing every second and going deeper, it feels. I mean, what's also interesting is, like we refer to my system or your system, which is nothing right or wrong about that. And in the use of language that way, in like the ownership of the system, there's a number of things that come into consciousness with that, say my system, and there has to be something that's the owner, or an entity of some identification as someone or something. There's experiencing, and we can say again, my experience, but it's every word just
Yeah, I feel it.
tweaks it somewhat.
Yeah, it feels more free.
Yeah. So let's move again. I'll be with you in a minute, Pamela. I'm just still with Sylvie. Thanks, Sylvie.
Thank you.
Pamela, with you.
Yeah. My mind races and then it draws a blank when I sense trauma.
I mean, in the world we live in today, there's trauma everywhere. So, but it's interesting, because when we talk about mind, what we're really talking about is thinking, just thoughts. And then we kind of talk about mind, and then on top of it, my mind. But there's just the thoughts that come, and with thoughts, there's an interesting experiment that you can do, because we have this idea that it's me that's thinking. But you can make a simple little experiment and just try not to think for 2 minutes is usually enough. I mean, and you'll see thinking just keeps happening anyway. So then the question comes, who's thinking? Thinking just seems to happen.
I know, I feel though that my thoughts are so blank that I can't grasp what I want to anymore.
Yeah. So there's that, whether or not I'm on the right track, you can tell me, but there's a mechanism in us that wants to try to know what's going on, when in fact we can never know. So that grasping to know, it's it's common. You could say it's very common in human functioning. But, you know, we can't describe this moment. It's changing every second. And we can't truly know what's going on either. You know, the universe is so vast. And in our bodies, in this bodying activity, there's trillions of cells. So, you know, it's like that in that recognizing that we can't know, what can happen is a let go, where there's just presence, and the effort to try and know kind of relaxes.
And if I don't grasp, how do I understand?
Understanding is a funny thing too, you know, it's like words happen, and then sometimes, you know, it's like it makes some sense. Sometimes a few seconds after we've heard the words, something processes them. But we never know if the understanding was what was what we understanding what was actually said, or it's an interpretation. So, you know, the words are just, in a sense, they're information, and they either resonate with something or they don't. I don't think it's so important to understand. Yeah, understanding happens or it doesn't. There's something beyond understanding, you know, that's here.
It's very funny, actually. It's like in parentheses not, and then getting to the bottom of it. It's both at the same time.
Yeah.
It's about letting go somehow, I guess.
Yeah, and that letting go is something also, there's nobody that lets go. It's like
You're right.
there's an activity going on that at some point it's seen as fruitless. It's just like, okay, no point. You know, it's like you're carrying a heavy bag and you suddenly realize, wait, I can put this down. And so in that moment you put it down, but till you recognize you don't need to keep holding it. Yeah. Something holds it.
Wow, yeah.
You know, some of these habits like understanding, I mean, where did we learn that? You know, at school we were taught it was a good thing to understand. And so, you know, or also maybe from our parents or our culture, you know. And I think in different cultures, there's not such a big emphasis on understanding. It's more attunement. That's interesting.
I must be from that culture. I don't seem to care to understand a lot of times, but
Yeah.
it feels right. It feels even better sometimes.
Yeah, of course, you can relax.
So do I just mute again and
Yeah, that's cool. Just mute, and if something else comes up, you're welcome to raise your hand again.
thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for interacting. Now the sun is really shining in my eyes. Excuse me a moment. I'm just going to go and pull another curtain down. This is Pamela.
Is it okay if I go again?
Sure.
Sometimes there's sadness to be discovered, and when it's discovered, it becomes happiness. And it's a good thing. It's looked
Yeah,
upon
I
as
mean,
being sad, though, sometimes.
you know, it's for me, I love to get really fine in how we use words and what they mean. So if we look at what's happening in this moment, the information that we call the world is perceived through our senses. So it's a sensation. Also, what we call this bodying activity, we sense. So the bodying activity itself is a sensation or information. And then emotion, the word literally means with movement. So what we have are the sensations of this moment. And the moment there's a response based on old information, conditioning, or trauma, there can be a movement to try and get away from the sensation. And that movement to try and get away from the sensation shows up as emotion. So there's a few ways that movement can happen. One is wanting it to be different, which would show up as anger, you could say, or a sense that, you know, what is sadness if we really slow it down and look at it? It's like we just have the information, and then sadness would be some sense of this something wrong, or that it was better before, we've lost something. But just, and being present to sadness, just really gently present with it without trying to see what we're sad about. This can be beautiful, can be, you know, just there. But really, what is sadness if we look at it?
It's deep down.
It's deep down, yeah. And so going deep, going to the depth, what is it? It's a feeling, a watery feeling, like somewhere,
Hollow.
somehow,
Hollow.
yeah, hollow,
Empty.
yeah. So somehow it's like, you know, I like to play with words. I say this moment is as God as it gets. The moment we have an interpretation, this is empty, or it's not beautiful, or, you know, somehow that sadness is a sense of emptiness, or not, or the opposite of overflowing beauty. You know, it's like, so there would be some sense of this, like I said, hollowness, some sense this.
It's also full.
It's full, but it's full of, like, the emotion is, you know, it's, what's the difference between joy and sadness? Joy is just, you know, enjoying the moment, or meeting the moment as the beloved, as I like to speak of. Sadness is, yeah, it could be different, but it's not. I mean, I don't know. You find for yourself what it means.
I just thought I had to say that for some reason, because
Look, at the moment on the planet, I mean, I think most people recognize that the way we've been functioning as a species is coming to an end. We're at the end of a cycle. our financial system is buggered. Our political system is corrupt. You know, and as a species, the way we're functioning is, our intelligence isn't very intelligent, I could say it like that. It's functioning in a way that is not in the best interests of, and we're facing the next great extinction. Like lots of species are going extinct. There's so much going on that level. So if you tune into the general vibration of people, there's a freak out. That interview that I spoke about with Zach Bush is beautiful because he really addresses some of the stuff in quite an amazing way. It's I found it well worth watching. Anyway, it's on my Facebook page if anybody wants to watch it. Okay, Pamela.
Yeah,
I'm going back to galleries again.
I just want to say that I think it's probably to do with, you know, how you said that humanity, or we are, I think we're not expressing all we can express. We do a lot less than we can do. So
Yeah, what's happened is that for most people, we've been conditioned to view through a habit of attention that is dualistic. It produces a sense of you and me. And through that perspective, when there's two, when it feels like there's two, then what comes up is fear, needing to defend, blame, shame, guilt. I mean, the whole bag. And when that plays out en masse, we have what we have. When we learn, you could say, or are interested, and we discover that actually all experience is appearing in awareness, and there's a resting, and our attention isn't projecting outward, it's here. The whole experience of now is here. Can't be anywhere else. It's just right here. It's not there. It's just, yeah. So the experience that I have of Pamela is here. And
now,
you know, something, yeah, now, and something can project it out that there's someone out there, but it's not the case because it's appearing in me through the senses, in awareness.
so lovely to understand.
Yeah, cool.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Pamela.
Thank you.
Dante.
Isaac, did you said my name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
I
yes.
was not hearing you right.
No
Ah,
problem.
yes.
Good
Okay.
morning. Good
Good,
evening.
good evening, good morning. Yes, I feel just to be a moment. There's so much changing and I feel it in the solar plexus. And I love to speak a moment, you know, the change of food even, you know, many, I didn't know how much this change can do with the system. I had the idea I would eat not very, but healthy, but I had always my little corners to, you know, to something, coffee or cake or something. And then, and what I found now, this food, which would be very healthy for especially cancer, it is beautiful, but there needs to be a discipline or quite a strong change. And since a few days, I touched such a feeling of strangeness, even loneliness. Really, for a long time, I never touched this feeling of loneliness. And now maybe it's an interpretation, but it feels with the food I had before, there was always a bridge to the past. You know, what was nice, the corners during the childhood.
I get it. Yeah.
I didn't know that this can happen with this, this one. And another one is the socializing, you know, when you say, now I want to change and this not, that suddenly from close friend, especially, but not too strong or not too, you know, like, don't do it so, how to say, dogmatic, or, you know, like there's a fear around also of this change, that we don't have the same rituals or all this. So I can imagine that this loneliness or this being so alone with this is touched actually, yes. Oh, you know what now from your experiences. Yes, yeah, yeah. But I feel so pulled to it. I never had this wow, this feels so good actually, and it feels like a freeing. But yeah, old habits want to cling to something else. Yes. Yeah. So I love just a moment. And I like to take this up again.
Also, the quality of attention and the field that we inhabit, you could say, is also food. It's also,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
slowly for me.
To me too. This is also beautiful food or nourishment. Or, yes, and what I also felt just now, really to be soft, even to be very aware, to stay soft when this different things happen. You know, when somebody has even fear to that it is too. That one can be together even with some tea and the other is eating, or you know, not this is not my interest to make a you know, a split or anything. No, just to respect that everybody can be how he feels or how it is right to him. Yes. Yeah. Mm. There's such strong. I just like to speak it. I also changed my place. I will move to Hamburg next month, and it is such a whoosh, such a really strong change right now, but beautiful. Many times it is so much aliveness brings this. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So. And I also like to say, I didn't know, it's my birthday today from the body, you know, just love to celebrate it. Yes, yes.
Happy birthday, Vedanta.
Thank you. Good. And now it's fine. Yeah, thank you.
Just receive the birthday greeting.
Yes, okay.
Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Colin. There. Hi.
Hi. Let me pin you. I had the chance to acquire a certain habit in the system, and I would love to, yeah, to be visible with it and to maybe track it together a bit closer.
Sure.
And it's this noticing that Yatan and I, we recently came a bit closer to this phenomenon when the energy feels somehow strange to Yatran. And we found a new way of approaching that. And basically what I noticed is that it has to do with a certain tension which this system is very much used to when it's with someone in the same room.
That's subtle noticing, because that's something, you know, like it's so automatic and so habitual. So the fact that it's coming into view is amazing.
I tell you, yeah, it is. And at the same time, again, it has this devastating quality. And it's good for me to hear it, that it's actually, it wants to be honored and it wants to be appreciated. And yeah, and it also has to do with this really deep longing on your trains and to almost constantly being close. And for me, there's really a strong need, especially during nighttime, to somehow be in my own energy. And I had almost all of my life this reoccurring dream, like soldiers entering the place where I live and me hiding somewhere and observing the whole scenery, and they not finding me, or then waking up when. And it dissolved a few years ago when I was in a hospital, and I had a super strong trauma response with losing consciousness. And after that, these dreams were like zeroed out. But somehow there is this yeah, I mean, I could track this automatism of as if someone feels to be constantly observed, and this produces like the subtle tension in the cells.
So in terms of being observed,
Observed, yes.
yeah. There's different qualities, you know, like there's a way where like there's just something is included in our attention, but then when it becomes observed, it's, you know, like they can either be like enjoyed, which wouldn't feel so much like observing them, because there's more of a, but observed always feels a little bit like we're an object, yeah?
Yes, and this is why I noticed that it must have a very, very old linking, because this is not how I'm seeing the world right now.
Yeah.
And we just come home from a workshop. We just came home, and I could notice it very strongly, that it's like constantly in this certain tension, yeah. Yeah, but it's really already such a relief to speak it, and between Gertrude and myself, it's really beautiful to see that it changes from like I have to defend to curiosity. And the defense was an automatism, of course. And now my mouth is quite dry. What I mainly find interesting is that as soon as we entered the meeting, I could feel another gentleness with that. And when we were in this other setting, it was not that easy for me to just observe. I mean, observe in this loving way, to just notice, okay. And what I now notice is that it's so super okay, however it occurs. Yeah, thank you for witnessing me
Mhm.
and that, and thank you, thank you.
Frank.
Hello.
Hi.
I just would like to ride the bicycle.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Oh, Sissy. See your hand?
It's really quiet. in the, I was like, is everything okay there?
Yeah, no,
well,
that's good.
everything is okay. It's just silence. Really now. Yeah, I can't be seen, so I'm just. You can
No
just.
worries.
So, I have a question because I raise your hands, soccer. Yeah. Okay. So the question is that I have my own company, so I'm the leader of I think 40 people, and well, I really want to be a leader who is inspirational, who is guiding with love, but well, not but. Well, what's interesting is that the company it's doing okay, but I think there is something in my system. So, for example, today, then I talked to somebody and he told me, yeah, there was a kid at the door and he couldn't come in because there was something wrong. And immediately I get angry. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is that door closed? I mean, you have to open that at 9:30 in the morning, so you're too late. So I'm always very fast. My system is very fast going in and sort of panicking from whoa, while that is not helping because, yeah.
Yeah, so your system is touching sounds like a trauma.
Why, why is the system so fast? It can be also a complaint from a parent, like, well, he's not doing okay. And then also the system is on, and I was wondering why this is not helping me and others also.
Clear, and it's not something you can control. It's like, that's why I say it sounds very much like you're touching a layer of trauma.
Yeah.
You know, like when something like that happens, it feels existential in your system. Your system immediately feels like its existence is threatened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so then it's, of course, you can't control the response because it's like even though rationally you can see it's not existential, something your system perceives it that way. Like you could lose your income or you could lose your company, something along that line, yeah, that through somebody else's not functioning optimally or well, there's a consequence for you. So, you know, just the recognition that it's happening is fantastic, because already then an inquiry can happen. And the inquiry is in the lines of, I see that there isn't an existential threat, so that however this is responding, it's not wrong or bad. At some point, it made sense, but in this moment, is it still relevant? So you're just giving that old information, new information, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because it's beautiful that it's noticed and that it's not identified with, so you're not, the way you speak it, you're not projecting it onto people at this moment. Anyway, it may be in the moment it comes out a little rough, but in retrospect, you can see, wait, no, that's something that's automatic, it's unconscious, it comes and you can do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just that question, okay, I see something is trying to help, but it doesn't.
Yeah. So when I'm more in peace, then I can see that this is happening. But I'm really curious. When I see my brother, I see him do the same. He's talking in his telephone. What are you doing?
Yeah.
He's doing
So
the
it
same.
looks like it's a family You know,
Yeah, I
something,
think
some
so.
inheritance. Yeah.
And I told him to, and he told me today, Sissy, you have to be. I said, I'm so right in this thing. I said, it's not about right or wrong. You have
Yeah.
people to manage, and they don't like me when I'm yelling at him.
Yeah, of course.
Of course,
Nobody
yelling
do.
at him all the time.
Yeah.
I told him, yeah, this is not the way. Yeah, no, I see in him the same reaction, so it's something in the family, I think, about, yeah, it's about safety, I think. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
safety, yeah, safety with my mother and my father, something like that. But it's I'm glad I can see it, so I can take some.
Yeah, it's really, that's a big step.
Yeah, so I can practice in my team with this.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you.
And you know, it's good to speak it to them. Just say, look, I realize it. I do see that it's not appropriate and it's not something I want to, I don't have control over it. And I am exploring it. So that they in the loop, you know, you speak it.
Yeah, that's a good
it-
idea. Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
idea. I share this. That I
Yeah.
share this with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
Sissy.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Oh, Josephine. Hi.
Hi, Isaac.
You don't have to have a question. You're welcome to sit quietly and see what wants to reveal. You don't. And if something comes up to speak, you're most welcome to speak about anything. I mean, but you don't have to make anything up. It's just like, it's rich just sitting together, yeah?
It does seem like there's some upheaval somehow. There's been lots of changes in my relationships lately. Always the question of guilt of hurting somebody. And
Let's address that, because that is something important. It's like, you know, I think we've all experienced hurt. You know, I don't think there's any, you know, most human beings have experienced hurt. So now, when hurt happens, usually there's a couple of movements that happen with it. One is believing that somebody else hurt us, or that there's something wrong with us, that we feel hurt. Sometimes they happen at the same moment. And usually that's never been explored or examined. If we think somebody else hurt us, then what's happened without meaning to is that we just put our happiness into somebody else's hands. They're responsible for when hurt happens to us. Or if we think there's something wrong with us, then usually the way we, you know, how it moves in us is the guilt, shame, all that stuff, which doesn't help us to see clearly. The other side of it is the idea that we can hurt somebody. And if we have that idea that we can hurt somebody, then, you know, it's like walking on eggshells. We don't feel safe or okay just to be authentic, just in case somebody gets hurt and blames us. And so in that way of looking, there's a sense of that somebody isn't equal to us. They're not sovereign. They, you know, so hurt happens. But is it, if we look closely, is it that somebody hurt us, or that we hurt ourselves, or is it just that we're touching an old information packet in our system that responds by feeling hurt? Because if we can see that it's just like, you know, normally hurt happens so quickly, and a lot of times we don't even register it. Our body just automatically, or our whole system automatically responds. So it's good to be clear on that. If hurt happens, it's an opportunity just to get in touch with something that hasn't been conscious before.
well, in my case, I'm actually being accused of hurting some.
Yes, that's a very common response.
Yeah.
Super common response. It's like, okay, I feel hurt and it's your fault.
Right.
Okay. So look, that's happened. That, you know, I could say that expression has happened through me thousands of times. I don't think all of us have. But it's just the recognition. Okay, look, I get that it looks that way to you. It's not wrong. I mean, I understand from that perspective, then you need to do something, you know, to cut me out or to keep me at distance so that you can feel good. But it, you know, it's like you never then get to look at what's going on in you, actually. So just in this moment now, just to take that inquiry a little deeper, in this moment, how could you hurt me? And explore, just really let your mind look at all the possible ways it could, and just tell me what it comes up with. You could tell me I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm not attractive. And would any of those things, could any of those things hurt me if nothing in my system takes it?
No, not really. No.
Not really. So you can see it doesn't matter what you say or do. It doesn't mean anything about me. It means more something of what's going on in you.
Mm.
So just take a moment again to be fresh with this question. In this moment, how could you hurt me?
I see. Mm. Mm.
And let's reverse the question. In this moment, how could I hurt you?
No, you can't really hurt me.
I can't. It's like in relating, especially intimate relating, a lot of times there's expectations.
Mm.
And then, of course, if there's an expectation, hurt is going to show up.
Mm.
Without doubt. So, like in our culture, we've got this thing of you hurt me or I love you. But I love you, what does that mean?
Mm.
It's like, there's a strong feeling happening in me, and I think it has something to do with you, but I don't really know who you is, and I don't really know who I am.
Mm.
But someone says, I love you, it's just really talking about something that's happening in them. It has nothing to do with you. Just the same way as if someone says, I hate you.
Mm.
So it's just, I could say it's very common movement. I say anyone that starts to relate deeply, that thinks hurt will not come up, is, it's not very realistically. It's because that's the value of deeply relating, is that those things come up to be looked at. That's good to be, just at least have an understanding of it. And then, of course, when an accusation comes, it'll touch something in us and go, wow, what did I do? Did I do something? I didn't. There is a phenomena when we feel hurt, that there'll be a reaction that uses everything it knows about that person to get them off center. I mean, I think all of us know that too, it's like it's like playing ping pong. It immediately, like tries to get the other person to feel hurt, to prove that you can actually hurt someone. But the fact is that, it's, even if hurt happens in that case, it's just an opportunity to look, what is it that got touched? Because the moment I've projected outward onto someone, look, you hurt me, I've just entered into victim consciousness. And I've put my happiness in their hands. And then, does that make sense to you?
Oh, it does, yes, definitely, yes.
Yeah. So, just practically, if someone accuses us of, oh, look, you hurt me, you say, look, I understand that perspective. There's nothing, I've felt that many times, but I do know that it's not accurate. I don't have that power.
Yeah, right.
And there's nothing in me that would want to hurt you unless there was, it was a reactive response in me. You know, it's like there's nothing in me that would want to do so. If anything hurts, usually it would be an automatic unconscious pattern playing in us.
Mm.
So literally means we're not doing it. It's just something, you know, that we're carrying that can feel painful to someone else.
Yeah.
But again, it's not our responsibility. It's just, okay, it's an opportunity. Okay, what is it that you sense of, what do you see or feel or sense or feel? What's going on that your system is responding to? I'm happy to look at it. I'm not happy to, you know, I'm not willing to go into agreement with that perspective, but I am willing to look if there's something conscious playing.
Mm.
That way, you know, you take advantage of, okay, well, I get it, you know, something in you feels hurt and it senses something in my system. If it's something going on unconscious, I'd love to know what it is, because shit, you know, it's not in my best interest to go around, you know, interfacing in a way that produces where hurt happens.
Mm.
Those might be a couple of things that are useful for you.
Yeah, very useful. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah, especially the perspective that that I could never have that power over another person. So, you know, making them small and actually being able to hurt them makes them smaller than
Small, exactly, yeah. exactly, which is not true.
Yeah, it's not true, yeah. Mm.
And if we go to gallery view for a moment, we can just check in with everybody and see, because it's such a common dynamic, just to see if anyone got value from it, you know, just you know, so yeah. Thanks for bringing it, Joseph.
Well, thank you, Isaac.
Yeah. Oh wow, we've reached time. Bas, thank you very much for hosting. Thank you, beloveds, for being here. Peace, love, beauty,